All right, hey everybody, Happy New Year 2022. Before we get started into the new year, we need to have a bit of a roadmap. And so what I decided to do is spend a little bit of time over the past weekend kind of looking at things uh, that from a momentum perspective have largely kind of flattened out. And quite frankly, and this may or may not be a surprise to you, a lot of the market, when it particularly comes to equities, but also other asset classes, have largely trotted sideways for many, many months now. And so we're kind of working on very thin, th very few concentrated stocks are carrying us higher. Now that is not news either for a lot of people, but let's have a look at a couple things, particularly one specific sector and then a stock that I think from a momentum perspective could ultimately resume to the upside. And specifically what we're looking at is industrial stocks. I have our market rover here, which gives us trend following signals, which is basically the green background when something is bullish. It'll give you a red background if it's bearish, and within that, it gives you trades. And you can see, even though the industrial stocks actually had a decent year last year, they really didn't do anything from May all the way through the end of the year. And if you look at this a bit more closely, you might look at it in a way such as this, which is basically the same chart, just in a bit of a, I drew some more annotations on. So even though we're bullish from a trending perspective, we've really gotten nowhere. So I'm going to make this a weekly chart so you can see this even better, because I think this is such a long-term chart, such a long chart that it kind of requires a look. All we continue to do since May is basically reach the upper end of the trend, bounce at the bottom, and so on and so forth. But I think there's a chance here that through earnings season we see some of the stuff accelerate to the upside. So that's industrial stocks. But if you want to look a bit more closely at individual components of this, you might come across a stock like UPS. And this too, if you look at it, it really hasn't done anything since May. In fact, it had a drawdown of about 17%, but now we're right back to where we were. So earnings coming up, of course, here in the second half of January. Earnings season kicks off, I believe. UPS reports it at some point in early February. So to me, if there's one thing you want to look at from a trending perspective, it may not be the sexiest thing in the world, but from a trending perspective, industrials, and within that, I think UPS is really something interesting to look at for into and maybe through parts of February. Now, one of the things that we're going to see in 2022, in our opinion, is a lot more selectivity in terms of trends, meaning you probably aren't going to make much money just being long the S&P, which has worked very well for the past 12 years. So I think there's going to be a lot more selectivity, but also a lot more mean reversion. And so that's one of the things I'm going to talk about at Wealth 365 coming up here later on in January. And I would welcome you to and encourage you to sign up. It's completely free to register. It's a wonderful online trading and investing event. In fact, it's the biggest one there is. I always learn a lot by listening to other speakers, and I'm going to present to you not only what we think is the roadmap for 2022, but specifically how we can trade around this new environment where it's not just the S&P going higher. In fact, it's going to be more selectively focused on parts of the market where there is growth and other dynamics that are continue to push things higher. So would love to have you guys on board. Completely free. You're going to get a lot of goodies, by the way, a lot of freebies of different ebooks and videos, and you're going to learn a lot. So look forward to seeing you guys there. Wealth 360, you can sign up down below or in the email that you are receiving this in. We'll see you there.